So we've just determined that Councilman Culver is not going to be joining us. So we will call this meeting of the Huntsville, this special session of the Huntsville City Council to order. It's Thursday, September 28th at 5 o'clock, and we are meeting in the council chambers. We welcome members of the Public Building Authority who are joining us for a joint meeting. We have called this meeting for the purpose of consideration of an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of the first supplemental lease agreement between the city and the Public Building Authority of the City of Huntsville and certain related agreements and documents pertaining to the PBA's proposed leave revenue refunding bonds, Series 2017. This will be a complicated meeting since we have both bodies meeting at the same time, and we appreciate everybody's patience as we work through this choreography. We will at this time announce a brief recess to allow for the Public Building Authority to call its meeting to order. Dr. Montgomery.
Thank you. First item of business is roll call. Barbara Jones. Present. Dick Reeves. Present. Oscar Montgomery. Let the record show that we're all present. Secondly, we'd like to adopt the agenda as it has been presented to each of us.
So moved, the adoption of the agenda.
Second. Motion proper second, motion ready for the question. All in favor, let it be known by sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same privilege, nay. Ayes have it, so ordered.
We will now reconvene the special session of the Huntsville City Council. The next item on our agenda is to receive a briefing from our bond counsel. Kane Burnett is here with us this evening, and Ms. Peggy Sargent from the city also will be presenting to us. The floor is yours.
In front of each of you is a memo provided by PFM giving you the details of this refunding of the 2007 PBA bonds. As you can see from the memo, there was a gross savings on this refunding of $11.8 million and a net present value savings of $9.3 million over the life of the bonds. No extension on the life of the bonds was given either at this time. We had 10 firms signed up with the original bidding, and 6 ended up bidding, and there was 2 bips between the high and the low. So it was a very good bidding group. It was very close and very competitive. We've got the refunding on this. I want to make sure I cover everything that we want to talk to you about. So we have the refunding and refinancing as well as the supplemental lease. And the supplemental lease is strictly the mechanism for the City of Huntsville to pay the debt service on these bonds for the Public Building Authority. And the rent is equal to the debt service.
Mr. Burnett?
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. We have before the City Council today one ordinance that we've prepared that puts into place the plan of financing that Peggy just described. It authorizes the City Council to execute the first supplemental lease agreement that reflects the refunding. Again, the lease agreement is only provides that the city lease the facility from the Public Building Authority, and its rental thereunder is equal to debt service on the Public Building Authority bonds. It also approves the final terms of today's public sale, awards the the City Council will approve the award of subject to action of the PBA award, which would award the sale to PNC today, and provides for a full execution of the documents that will be necessary in the financing. There will be no need, I'll point out, there will be no need for any other than one certificate that PNC has, that awards the sale to PNC. There will be no need to execute any of the financing documents tonight. We'll meet a separate time to handle that between now and the closing, which is set for October the 12th.
Unless council members have really pressing questions at this point, I would suggest that we hold questions until we get to that portion of the agenda where we are considering the items. We will now take a brief recess to allow for the Public Building Authority to consider the two resolutions on its agenda. Dr. Montgomery.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. Fellow board members, we've adopted our agenda. Our agenda has on it two resolutions. Resolution number 2017-2 to confirm the offices of the Public Building Authority of the City of Huntsville. Are there any discussion relative to that resolution? Resolution indicates that I am the chairman, Dr. Grant vice chairman, and Dick Reeves is the secretary. We seek a motion to approve resolution number 2017-2.
Second.
Motion proper second, the motion read for the question. All in favor, let it know by sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same privilege, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried, and it is so approved. The second resolution, resolution number 2017-3, authorizing the issuance of the Public Building Authority of the City of Huntsville, Alabama, of its lease revenue refunding bond, Series 2017. That's the Series 2017 bond, to call of outstanding obligations of the PBA to be refinanced by the Series 2017 bonds, and the execution of the first supplemental indenture and the first supplemental lease agreement, and various other related agreements and documents pertaining to the Series 2017 bonds and said refinancing. Okay. Have you had a chance to look at that resolution? Okay. Are there any questions regarding the information contained in that resolution?
I move adoption of the resolution 2017-3 as presented.
It's been motioned and properly second that the resolution 2017-3 be approved. Is the motion ready for the question? All in favor, let it be known by sign aye.
Aye.
Let the record show the unanimous approval of resolution number 2017-3. Okay, we will now inquire as to whether or not there is any other information or business that needs to come before the PBA at this time. Customarily, we would have a reading of our minutes and others, but they will be had in our next regular session. With that, we seek a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is properly second, the motion ready for the question. All in favor, let it be known by sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same privilege, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries, so ordered, we stand in adjourn.
Thank you, Dr. Montgomery. We will reconvene this special session of the Huntsville City Council. We have one item on our agenda for consideration, an ordinance authorizing execution and delivery of a first supplemental lease agreement between the city and the Public Building Authority of the City of Huntsville and certain related agreements and documents pertaining to the PBA's proposed lease revenue refunding bonds, Series 2017. Council members, this item will require the unanimous consent of the council members present for immediate consideration of the ordinance. The chair moves for unanimous consent.
Second.
Second by Mr. Russell. Mr. Keith, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Russell?
Aye.
Mr. Kling?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. We have unanimous consent for consideration at this meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the ordinance?
I move to approve the ordinance.
Second by the chair. Is there discussion, questions?
Yes, ma'am. Could, we have bond counsel here. I'm sorry, I don't believe you stated your name and your firm for the record.
I apologize. My name is Kane Burnett, and I'm with the law firm of Bradley Arant in Birmingham.
And sir, Ms. Burnett, who do you represent here?
Represent the, we're bond counsel to the Public Building Authority and also represent the city.
Okay, so you represent both of us in this meeting tonight?
That's right.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions, any other discussion? All in favor of approving the ordinance as stated, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The ordinance is approved. Is there any other business to come before the council at this time? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for your participation today, your joint participation.